Wednesday, 25th of January. It's the real KNC, Ken Laird.
Chris Curtis.
Little experiment today, Curtis, on the podcast. For the first time since we've begun. I don't know how many episodes we've done of this. What do you think? 40, 50, 60, somewhere in that range?
We did one at the beginning that was like 7 minutes unedited. That might be the single worst podcast in the history of radio.
Yeah, we were pretty bad when we started. We've gotten to be fairly polished, but I don't want to take too much credit, pat myself on the back too much, but we bang out about 25, 30 minutes a day of this thing. And then I go to work. A lot of drops. Some would call it TB Laird. Kirk had that feeling for a little while. We've had a couple listeners who said, I can't stand it. Too many drops. I can't listen. But I go through and I'll polish it up. You and I make a few mistakes. Let's be honest.
You're the polisher. I'm the turd.
I didn't say that.
No, it's true.
You're the star. Oftentimes you go a little bit too far for the company's liking, so then I've got to come back and scrape, you know.
Corporate Laird.
Yeah. So when you listen most days, you know, we've got it tidy as we like it, and we kind of scarf it down to 20 minutes. I got time constraints today. It's the wife's birthday. Happy birthday, Dee. She's 40 today, big 4-0.
Oh, no way.
Yep.
And almost 40 weeks.
Almost 40 weeks. She was hoping the baby would be born today. So she's off work today. We've got some things planned. I don't want to reveal too much. She's a big listener, P1 of this podcast, so some surprises, but I got to go and take care of a few things.
Bigger things to do. You got it.
So we're just going to go through this uncut. So without further ado, today on the show, it was a Ream Job Wednesday. How'd you think Alex handled the spotlight today?
So I got an email this morning, as I often do, with the notes from the Ream Job, and he said that I'm ready to take over Trenny's spot in your list of the power rankings.
Oh, really?
Yep. So he was ready to go.
It's one of the things you like about him. He takes it seriously, the battle.
I knew he was going to hear me say that yesterday, which is good. He listens to everything. He's the anti-Trenny in that regard.
Well, Mutt also listens to everything. Let's give Mutt credit. He is also a P1 to this podcast.
Very smart point by you, because if we don't credit Mutt for something he does in this podcast, he bitches about it. So, yes, good job,
A little
Mutt.
sensitive.
So he came in, he had about 2 pages of notes on, like, the Dakota pipeline. He had more notes on the T. I shit you not. There were notes on the Mattapan T that he's still trying to correct.
Well, we talked about it yesterday. We teased it, and then Kirk, shut it down. He didn't want to get into racist T talk.
He had something of the number of routes per person in the populace in Mattapan versus Newton. I don't know.
I actually was hoping we were going to get back into that. I was a little disappointed.
So all that work for naught, but I'm sure the T will come up again. He was ready to go. And we had our Reamer moment, which came in the 7 o'clock hour.
During headlines. He saved headlines. Bad job by me today. Bad job. Full, entirely on my back. Did a shitty work there. But he said that Melania Trump is dumb. A bimbo.
So that was my the memorable Reamer moment of the day.
Yeah, his memorability factor, again, was there to be seen. Now, we got into some game thoughts later, which was right up my alley. That was my favorite part of the show today at 9 o'clock. Some press coverage, some man-on-man, some zone schemes, some O-line, D-line talk, some A-gap talk. And that's all the football we got into today because, again, we were hammering Le Batard. Of course, you knew we would. ESPN, Trump derangement syndrome, Brady Trump, the phenomenon. And that dominated the show again today.
Yeah, we were here yesterday about this time, and Le Batard had just opened his show going against Boston. And I thought Jerry did a great job with this today. Twice he set up the Le Batard rant where he was going at Boston, and then Jerry brought it back to, and here's the response after management came in, and we heard Stugotz and Cody both say they grew up in Lawrence and the wonder
groveling
of Boston.
Oh,
so
they did the Tomasi.
That was great. And what were your thoughts on Tomasi? Kirk went at him pretty hard today.
Very hard today. Tomasi defended Le Batard by basically saying, and what was the essence of Tomasi's points? We'd play the drops here normally, but
the essence of Tomasi was that we overreact. We take it to an 11 when race is brought up, and that we are sensitive and give these people sort of what they're looking for by our overreaction to their comments.
Tomasi is giving credence to the Le Batard defense now that it was tongue-in-cheek, that he was just joking. But I'm with Kirk 100% on this. These guys are taking shots at your city. As a resident of the city, you have every right to be offended by this, and it's now become a pattern. And the company, ESPN, may not be, demanding this from their host, but now, how many do we have, though? 6, 7?
Oh, it's over a handful of people from ESPN that are just without any. I mean, yesterday I got home, I turn on ESPN, and Amin is sitting there. And I never used to see the guy on ESPN.
Well, you want good football knowledge. You want Amin Al-Hassan.
I mean, and they have like 300 NBA guys. He'd probably be number 299 on my depth chart, and he's on SportsCenter at 11:30, and it's like they're just pissing on us. Saying,
but this is proof, 100% proof, that nobody in the company, nobody's responded to you, of course, none of the ombudsman or the public relations staff, they have not even reacted to this. Boston is enraged, at least our listenership is, at the way the city's been portrayed, the region's been portrayed the last couple of weeks, and that never got to Le Batard. He's just jumping right in.
Well, it's even the opposite. The people at ESPN don't get back to me. They go to management and complain about what we do.
Right.
So they have no accountability.
None.
ESPN management only cares about us exposing their on-air personalities, but doesn't seem to care enough to take them off the air and stop them from saying these things, because every day, literally, every day, there's another person. Today there'll be somebody who points out the race issue in Boston.
Well, this has me looking forward to your trip to Houston. This is the one, as you and Kirk have both said, your one goal, your MO, your modus operandi, as Ted Sarandis used to hammer home, is to go and confront ESPN people next week, correct?
Yes, that is my only goal. It's to survive working with Doug Lane every day, and it is to go and confront ESPN personalities wherever they may be hiding.
And observe the Houston skyline from the air.
Well, I'm taking notes. I'm going to do Facebook Live, I think, from the plane as I go over Detroit. And I'm also going to be searching for these people, because from what I hear, there's not a lot to do where we're staying. It's kind of boring part of downtown Houston. So I'm just going to be finishing the show, getting some lunch, heading to the ESPN compound, trying to find these idiots where they are.
Hey, as an aside, in the 9 o'clock hour today, we got into Sarah Spain talk. Where were all the articles coming from that you were pulling out? You had, some graphic shots, and Jerry seemed to be enjoying himself.
Yeah, so we call that the 6 to midnight hour.
Yeah.
And Sarah Spain, we got a phone call from a guy who said that, did you hear about this story about Sarah Spain? I hadn't heard about it. And so I searched about her pursuit of Super Bowl tickets when her beloved Chicago Bears played at the Colts, and she sold herself on eBay to get a ticket to the game. And so there were
Novel idea. We should have Reamer do that.
That's true. That's how we could get to Houston.
Yeah, get Reamer to Houston.
Nailed it. So these pictures, one was better than the last. I mean, these things were outstanding.
They
the schoolgirl
really
outfit.
Sarah?
They were really Sarah. And, man, she has a pair on her.
Well, I don't want to be misogynistic, but we had some cuts of her weighing in about how hard the industry is for women, and, they expect sexuality. So it's a little bit of a pot kettle situation.
Well, and actually, one thing that we didn't even get to, which I later found out, is that as a result of this stunt, Bomani, she got a deal from Axe body spray, and they sent her to the Super Bowl, and that was sort of her launching pad of her career.
Here's where I would drop in the "good for her" from WGBH drop. I won't. No drops today.
That was even better. So yeah, her whole career, I guess, was basically launched on selling her body on eBay, which is kind of counter to what she says.
You guys are similar. Your body issues were.
Oh man, Sausage and I, we did that calendar together. It just went crazy.
Who won the weight loss contest?
Oh, I put on weight. I put on 4 pounds when we did the weight loss challenge.
How did that happen?
I don't know.
Well, by the way, Sausage was. I talked to him at the bitter end, and he had ballooned back up.
Oh
in
yeah,
his own words.
It was short-lived.
Yeah, so he was not a fan of the strategy he used.
I think I started at 264 and I ended at 268.
That's good dedication. Oh man! Now we had a number of things to get to today. Josh Vina was another subplot. We had another snowflake. You want to call it?
Chad Finn doesn't like snowflake.
No, I know he doesn't like that term. We had Buckley versus Jerry today, but Jerry, I thought he was really going to go at Steve. Didn't want to really take his old colleague to task there.
If we've learned anything...
He was more upset that the Herald didn't arrive today.
Yeah, he was. If we've learned anything of the new Jerry and the new Kirk and Callahan mold, he loves the gays. You can't hate him.
True.
So he can't get mad at Buck. He can't stay mad at Reamer, and that's what happened today.
Okay, so that was those were the main themes of the show. We did have a segment I will say was one of my favorites, dedicated to Amani Toomer drops. At 7:45, we just played Best of Amani. That was basically 10 minutes of the show.
I love it. I love Amani. This morning, Jerry mentioned to me that he heard some of this, that Amani waited on the Brady situation, beelined it in, grabbed some of the sound, and it was just outstanding. He was, I thought, this is that. And the only thing he could think of when he was thinking about Tom Brady, as he so eloquently put it, was that Tom Brady likes Donald Trump. So whenever Tom Brady throws a pass now, he only thinks about Donald Trump, which was a very good point by him.
So my favorite segments of the show, if you're going to go back and listen to the audio, you're going to have to hunt for it yourself today. I'm not finding it for you. 7:45, the Amani Toomer segment. 9 a.m. game thoughts. Kind of a 1A, one
around
A,
the horn battle for who could best point out the Patriots' game plan.
Yeah. Now, I kind of botched some of the around the horn drops. What was your favorite segment other than that? The Le Batard segment at 6 I thought was pretty good. I think I nailed the drops there. Not so much for Kenny Boy on the reset. What happened, Kirk played the original Le Batard, which got us all on this subject, and I had like 10 things loaded in the bank. Once I play one, sometimes I discard it just because it's tough to focus, and then he wanted to reload, cut one. Oh, man, was that a disaster. What a shit show.
Yeah, I would say the best segment of the show by far today was the start of the 6 o'clock hour. There was energy. The guys were going. Kirk went nuts about Tomasi, and we sort of carried that momentum because we didn't actually play the Tomasi in the
that
first
was more
segment.
at 6:30. Yeah,
So 6:30 was really going after him. We had the 2008 story of the walkthrough out there, and I thought the first hour was good. I thought it was. I mean, there wasn't a bad hour, but I thought the first hour was sort of genuine rage, anger, and just mocking Le Batard in his ratings. And that was a great thing by intern Aaron today, grabbing a lot of that, the WOBQ and the other little stations that Le Batard lost to in Boston.
Agreed. And Alex Reamer claims in the back room the website is spiking due to his presence on it. So they're very happy. Jerry wants him to get a little bit of a rainbow motif to his fonts and his background, so that may be coming soon.
Jerry's drawing different things for what it should be in his background. He's obsessed with
those symbols he was drawing were a little offensive, I gotta
very
say.
phallic based. Yeah. I don't know. But so Reamer's addition is already paying off for the station, and the website is booming, according to Alex, and I believe it. He wrote a couple of viral stories recently.
Now, tomorrow, we have finally reached a conclusion. Pete Shepard is in for Thursday. He has edged out the Candyman.
Pete the Meat is back. We broke the news at about 9:55 this morning, and he will be in with Jerry and Kirk. And let me say, it took about 8 minutes into the office after the show today before Kirk started dreading the decision. Because
that pit in the stomach feeling.
He was starting to plan tomorrow's show in his mind, and he had thought, because it's true, Belichick usually speaks on Friday, but because of pre-Super Bowl, whatever, Belichick is speaking at 9 tomorrow morning.
Right.
So he goes, oh, fuck, Pete's going to suck at that. So we're going to try and do the Belichick Mystery Science Theater tomorrow at 9.
See, some of our listeners will love this. They want Pete to be commander-in-chief and just shut everybody up so we can hear the coach.
Well, I think Pete should be playing the role of saying, shut up, let's talk A-gap, B-gap.
Or Bruins. If he wants to talk Bruins, that's okay by me.
Belichick and Claude are close.
They are close.
So maybe he'll answer some questions about the future of the Bees.
Claude wore the hoodie, if you recall, at the Winter Classic last year in homage to Coach Bill.
Oh, right, at Gillette.
Mm-hmm. So
yes.
Those two are very tight.
So we're gonna. If you've been looking for some Patriots preview, some real, screw Trump and Clinton and gays and all this stuff. If you want to hear nut and bolts football, Pete is going to break down the A gap, the B gap,
football.
And I thought Jerry had a great point today. You don't want to be in third and long.
No.
So
you want to get third manageable.
Right, and I think another thing is
get behind the chains.
Field position is going to be an important factor of this game.
It's at a premium.
So we're going to get into that a little bit tomorrow.
Special teams are a third of the game. I don't know if you're aware.
Michael Hawley taught me that.
And Mike Salk. So, okay, Pete's in tomorrow. Will trouble arise when we go, say, to something like that, a feature, or is it going to be headlines, something political? How do you think Pete's going to handle the Trump-Brady factors? You ready to weigh in? You spoke to him for about, 40 minutes the other night?
So Pete's ready to go. I haven't spoken to him on the phone. We've just been texting. He called me, left a message, but I don't want to be called a liar by Pete. Haven't spoken to him. We'll get lunch tomorrow, Pete. But
let's have lunch.
But I want Pete to be Pete. I don't want Pete to be prepared to talk politics and all this other stuff. No. Pete, just come in as you are. Be sporty, be crazy, be angry. He's pissed as hell at Le Batard. He's trying to get him fired. I think that'll be where he's going to be spending most of his time tomorrow. And
judging by some of the social media action, Le Batard's already been on the air here today as we record this, and he's, again, backpedaling. He's saying that I never said Boston was racist or the Patriots were racist.
I heard him tease at 12:30 his top 5 favorite Boston sports moments, so he's going to go through that. And the backpedaling continues in Bristol.
Very good. dinner tonight at the Curtis Mansion.
I honestly am going to have leftovers. Had the best
how was the
pappardelle pasta with a short rib ragu.
I didn't even know that's how you pronounce it. Say that again?
Pappardelle?
Pappardelle.
Or pappardelle, I don't know. But I think it's pappardelle.
Okay. You're the Italian.
That's how they pronounce it when I was at the restaurant. So, going to have some leftovers of that and just get jacked and pumped for a Pete Shepard edition of the show on Thursday.
One final thing. You guys are leaving via the air Sunday for Houston. It seems to me by listening into some of the scuttlebutt, as you know I like to do, you guys are getting preferential treatment to some of the others at the station?
Yeah, I guess we are flying out at 4, which is kind of the perfect time.
4 in the afternoon.
4 o'clock on Sunday afternoon because we get to have some morning at home.
Mm-hmm.
Get there in time to
Jerry gets his mocha chai latte. He can ease into the day.
He loves reading the Sunday Globe and the Sunday New York Times. Has to do both crosswords.
A little embarrassing.
He reads the editorial and just loves it. And then we're going to be heading to the airport at 4, landing around 8, sort of the sweet spot of the travel time. Others are flying early Sunday morning, which is what Jerry didn't want to do, and others are taking off later Sunday night. So we kind of have the lucky window there of the travel time. So
hey.
And Friday we have even better. We're leaving at 1 on Friday. So finish the show, head to the airport, get home by 5. It's perfect.
The best moment of the post show today was my good friend Lyndon Byers, contributing to Saturday Skate, who came in and attempted to have a conversation in English with Kirk about his travel plans to the Super Bowl. Did you come to any conclusion as to what LB was trying to say or what happened there? That was great.
I don't know what LB thinks my role is at WEEI, but he comes to me sometimes with like questions that management might have the answers to or whatever. But like
he looks up to you. He thinks you know things.
He thinks I can get him a credential for the Super Bowl, which I initially thought was like media day, which probably wouldn't be that big of an issue. He's a member of the media. And then today he's coming in saying he wants a credential for the game.
Oh, is that what so he was begging you to get into the game?
I guess because he said he's not getting there till Friday, and he wants to stay for the game.
You better clear this up because the poor lad thinks you're going to actually get him into the game. He's going to be standing at the will call, dropping Chris Curtis's name at Super Bowl 51.
Kirk's sitting there looking at it like, what the fuck is this guy talking about?
That was like a Chelsea Handler Melania Trump conversation there. That was. They weren't connecting there.
We're all just like, yep. I had no idea. I don't even know why he's good. Then he brought up how Hillman's sick. I don't know how Hillman being sick has anything to do with him going to the Super Bowl.
LB might be in with us on Saturday Skate.
Oh, really?
No, really. I haven't talked to him about it, but he just might show up. You never know.
Has he been back since he missed you back-to-back weeks?
No, we plugged him 2 weeks in a row. And we were supposed to be on 1 week. He didn't show. He apologized. We set it up for the next week. He didn't show, and he apologized. And I thought maybe let's ease off the accelerator after that.
What happened with Whitney? Like, now that we're he's not part of it, what was the actual reasoning
He
there?
just got hired by NHL Network. He legitimately has other media stuff that's been spiking. So he's got a hot young babe girlfriend. He doesn't like to work on the weekends, so that's kind of the essence of it.
But wasn't the show always planned on the weekends?
Yeah, but I think he's working a lot of Saturday nights.
So my question is this sort of the way I view this, tell me if I'm wrong, that the Rear kind of sold this as a package deal.
No. The Rear was in from the get-go.
So he was the first signing.
Yes.
Number 1 pick off the board.
Yes.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Which wouldn't he be in your eyes?
My God, he's electric.
Number 1 draft pick. All right, so let us know how you think this went today. This actually wasn't too bad. We've had some episodes that we record that really need some major triage, but today, okay, it's just going to be a little dry, no drops, no cuts from the show, no funny sound bites, no TB Laird.
I don't think Kirk will like it, but
no,
we did it for him.
We got
anyway.
him something. Jerry was going to give us dispensation today. We could have taken the day off.
Yeah,
but you and I plug ahead.
We go forward.
Yeah, when they go low, you and I go high. That's pretty much our motto.
That's how we do things around here.
All right, see you tomorrow.
Happy birthday, D.
Yeah,
40 years. That's awesome.
The big 40. My lovely wife, and tomorrow, Pete the Meat, Mumbles and all, 6 o'clock. Not sure if he'll make it to 7. Unless they can't, we've pulled the rug out from under Pete before. That's always a possibility. You never know. Got to tune into.
You might get a phone call at 4:30 today.
Exactly. All right, see you tomorrow.
All right, see you.